More than 80% of Australian households believe their financial situation will improve or hold steady over the next 6 months. That's the view of more than 1 million Australians surveyed by the Commonwealth Bank. Its chief economist, Michael Blythe, joins me now in the studio. Thanks very much for being here.
Thank you.
Now, this survey, this time round, you decided to have a look at the impact on the mining sector. Why did you choose to focus on that area?
Well, what caught our attention first was just the outsized nature of the financial transactions that were occurring in those mining regions. And, of course, we all know just how important that mining story for Australia is, so we decided to have a closer look at it.
And when you looked at it, in particular looked at a number of different areas, what sort of profiling did you give the sector if you look at, say, salaries to, within the mining sector and then other people that live in those regions?
Well, everything about the mining story is big, and that includes the salaries that go with it. In our survey, for example, at one extreme in that sort of remote area in northern Western Australia, mining salaries are 1.6 times the national average. Once you move beyond mining, though, there is a bit more of a divide there. You step down to the essential services of the retail areas, then what you're getting is a group of workers who are earning half to a third of what they are in the mining sector, so very wide diversity there.
Did the survey go on then to talk about the mining sector and the impact it's having on these regional communities?
Yes, one of the things we were particularly interested in is how does this mining boom spread right throughout the Australian economy. And what we could see in our data is that while the incomes were being earned in these mining regions, a lot of the spending was being done somewhere else. So, again, looking at northern Western Australia, about 78% of the income earned there is being spent in Perth and Adelaide and so on. And that's just one of the ways the benefits of that mining boom are spreading right throughout the Australian economy.
But is that because the money's not being spent there because of the fly-in, fly-out nature of many of the mines?
Yes, that's exactly the case. If you look at other mining regions like central Queensland, where there's a much wider base, where you don't see that same sort of fly-in, fly-out, a much larger proportion of the gains actually remain in the local community, better than 60% in that case.
And in the survey, did anyone raise the concern, or does the Commonwealth Bank raise the concern about a mining bust or the possibility?
Well, what that story really underlies, I think, is just how leveraged we are to the whole China story and the commodity story and the income flows that is generated. Of course, right at the moment, the China story looks very encouraging, and I think there's plenty more to come on that front. We can see the income flow coming through the economy through our measures. We can see the capital spending that's tied in with that income flow as well. And that's putting a certain base level of growth into the Australian economy that looks to be pretty much locked in for this year and next, I think.
And then, of course, though, what happens to those mining towns, those regional towns that are currently relying on that boom?
Well, that's the sharp end, and you get the benefits on the way up, but certainly you are more exposed on the way down as well. And so those regions with that broader economic base, again, well, they're obviously better placed to deal with that situation should it occur.
Now, the survey overall found that, as I mentioned, more than 80% of Australian households are confident that their financial situations will improve or hold steady. That's despite the latest consumer confidence figures that are out today that show a drop.
Well, I think what our survey is reflecting is most people are very confident about their employment prospects. We've seen very few people in our survey are worried about losing their jobs anytime soon, and that strong labour market backdrop, I think, is sort of colouring perceptions about financial circumstances and how they'll develop from here.
What about the levels of debt that Australian households have?
Well, as job concerns have subsided, what we have seen is increased worries about housing costs, so rents and, of course, mortgage payments as well. So there is still an underlying level of concern there about household budgets.
Did they talk about it all, the respondents to the survey, about their own consumer confidence or even their spending habits?
Well, it's clear still a fair degree of caution there on the consumer side. Well, people are certainly very positive about their prospects. There is quite a regional divergence coming through, for example. So Queensland tends to be running a bit below the national average in those confidence levels right at the moment. There's also a strong male-female divide in those confidence levels, and there are also some concerns evident about the ability to withstand any sort of financial shock that might come along.
Do you know why Queensland is much lower in the confidence levels compared to WA, and not just looking at the fact that maybe WA's got a larger mining community?
Well, that was a surprise given how exposed Queensland is to the mining story. There, I think you're seeing some of the negatives from that mining story come through. I mean, the Aussie dollar is where it is at the moment because of that mining story. It's obviously hurting sectors like tourism, very important in Queensland, less so in Western Australia.
And the broader economy, what did this survey show about the broader economy overall?
Well, it suggests the economy is doing pretty well, and we'd certainly expect that to continue. That income flow generated by this commodity boom is flowing right through the Australian economy. It is boosting incomes. It will boost spending and support a decent rate of growth, we think, this year and next.
Michael Blythe, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.